habit is causing a lot of accidents, crashes that are happening in good weather. It's a big reason why your commute can turn ugly real fast. Just 2 little seconds might have saved 10 people from a trip to the hospital.
They couldn't stop in time.
2 little seconds can determine if rush hour rushes.
This is jamming things up northbound 494.
Or screeches to a halt.
It's going to be a while before this opens up.
How can 2 seconds make such a difference? Because out here you need a good 2 seconds worth of distance to stop safely. At 55 miles an hour, 2 seconds equals 180 feet, about 2/3 of a football field. But does this look familiar? That white car is only 1/3 of a second away from our bumper, just 30 feet. If we had to hit the brakes, he'd be eating steel.
We're looking at 3, maybe 4 cars involved.
It's that kind of crash that gums up rush hour. But from Skyfox 9, it's plain to see that a lot of Metro drivers aren't backing off. The 2-second safety gap is hard to find. Most of these cars are only a second apart or less. You never know when you'll need that extra second.
I don't feel comfortable driving anymore.
Twice in 2 years, Lana Strong was clobbered from behind when she had to hit the brakes.
I think people are in just too big a hurry nowadays.
After the second crash, doctors had to put a metal rod and some screws in her back. In our rush to get to wherever it is we're going, we seemingly don't even have 2 seconds to spare. The result? More than 4,000 crashes a year on Metro highways are caused by drivers who just don't have enough room to stop. Remember that tragedy on I-94 last summer? Good Samaritan Casey Schlusler was killed after stopping to help another motorist change a tire. The State Patrol blamed that crash in part on a driver who was following too closely.
I try to stay a safe distance, when I can.
The Fox 9 investigators asked Metro drivers to tell us what they consider to be a safe following distance.
This one right here.
We showed them 3 pictures, each one an example of spacing between cars on a freeway.
It seems like a reasonable distance to me. It's almost 2 car lengths.
Most of the drivers picked either this distance or this one.
You can't get too far back or you've got people cutting in.
No one picked this one, which shows the true distance you'd need to stop safely at 60 miles an hour to avoid a rear-end collision.
I want to keep up with traffic, too, so I wouldn't stay that far behind.
Many drivers told us they felt comfortable following this close, which, by the way, is only a half second behind.
It's not worth dying for.
How dangerous is this habit? To find out, the Fox 9 investigators have come to the Minnesota Highway Safety Center in St. Cloud. I'm going to follow instructor Dave Schultz out on a test course. At some point, he's going to slam on his brakes to see how quickly I can stop in response. We're doing about 55. I'm about a second's worth of distance behind the pickup, about 90 feet. Even with the benefit of knowing he was going to hit the brakes at some point, I still couldn't stop in time.
Went 4 car lengths farther than I did because you can't react as fast.
Had I been in the same lane as the pickup, I easily would have crashed.
I would be willing to bet we'd total both of them.
Next, I follow Dave using the 2-second rule. I check to see when the pickup passes a mark on the road, then count 1 1,000, 2 1,000. If my car passes over the mark at that point, I know I've got good separation. It's amazing how just a little extra space gives you that much of an advantage to stop. But as every commuter knows, space during rush hour usually comes at a premium. Because of it, some freeways have definite trouble spots where the habit of driving too closely causes hundreds of crashes every year. One of the worst is in Bloomington along the 494 strip between Highway 100 and 24th Avenue. This stretch averages about 180 crashes a year, which are a direct result of drivers who don't leave enough separation. Another trouble spot, 35W, especially where it meets up with the crosstown. More than 200 crashes every year. But the #1 problem area is Interstate 94 as it passes by downtown Minneapolis and crosses the river. It averages more than 260 crashes a year because drivers are following too close.
Expect substantial delays there.
MnDOT says every minute a lane is blocked adds up to 4 minutes worth of congestion. Do the math. Lose a lane for 15 minutes and traffic will be clogged for a good hour.
The probability of a crash really goes up the closer you are to a vehicle in front of you.
Why isn't the state doing more to crack down on drivers before they run into someone? Troopers say they try to ticket the worst offenders, but a lot of drivers fall into a gray area of close but not aggressively close.
How do we prove that somebody's following somebody too close and explain that to the courts and get a conviction out of it?
Minnesota might want to follow the example of Pennsylvania. The highway department paints dots on some roads and has signs reminding drivers to keep a minimum of 2 dots apart. The project has reduced the number of crashes on some highways by 60%. More proof that 2 little seconds out of 86,000 seconds in a day is time well spent.
Difference between dying and living.
The 2-second rule works no matter what your speed, and if more Metro drivers got into that habit, it might prevent some of those 4,000 crashes a year, which are caused by tailgaters. For the Fox 9 investigators, I'm Jeff Ballion.
Really makes you